The first thing I noticed was how careful I was being. I adjusted my son's tie twice before we entered the reception hall. I told him gently, "Stay close to me, okay?" He nodded, serious in the way only 10-year-olds can be when they want to make you proud. Weddings in my family were never just weddings. They were stages. My mother liked order. She liked hierarchy. She liked knowing exactly where everyone belonged. I had spent most of my life slightly outside of that order. Still, it was my sister's day. I had promised myself I wouldn't anticipate problems where none existed. For a while there weren't any. Music, laughter, the shimmer of gold table settings. My sister moved through the crowd, glowing and nervous. My son stayed near the dessert table, whispering commentary about the cake decorations. Then something shifted. It wasn't dramatic at first. Just my sister patting the small clutch she'd been carrying. Then her brows tightening. She whispered something to her bridesmaid. Within minutes my mother was scanning the room with sharp, deliberate eyes. "My phone," my sister said quietly. "It's gone." It wasn't just any phone. It was the one her fiancé had gifted her. Gold-plated, engraved, expensive enough that people had admired it all morning. The room thinned around the panic. Conversations paused. My mother stepped forward like she'd been waiting for something to solve. "Who was near the bridal suite?" she demanded. No one answered immediately. Her eyes moved, calculating. They landed on my son. He was holding a glass of juice, both hands wrapped around it. He was wandering earlier, my mother said, not to me, to the room. I felt the air tighten. "He wasn't wandering," I replied, calm but firm. "He's been with me." My mother didn't look at me. She looked at him. "Did you go upstairs?" she asked. He shook his head, confused. "No." She took a step toward him. "Think carefully." "I didn't," he said, voice smaller now. The accusation didn't build slowly. It snapped. "You've always had sticky fingers," she said, loud enough for half the room to hear, "just like your mother." My stomach dropped. I felt something old and familiar, that sense of being 13 again, accused before evidence existed. "He didn't take anything," I said. And then she slapped him. The sound was sharp, his head jerked to the side. Juice spilled across his shirt. Before I could move, her hand was in his hair, yanking his face upward. "Where is it?" she hissed. The room watched. I didn't think. I stepped between them and pushed her arm away. "Don't touch him." Her face changed, not shocked, offended. "You and your son are thieves," she shouted. "You've always been a disgrace." My sister said my name softly but didn't move. I could feel my son behind me, trembling. "Stop," I said. My voice was steady, but my hands were shaking. "You don't get to do this." She reached for the nearest object, a solid decorative sculpture from one of the gift tables. Heavy, ornamental. I didn't expect her to use it. The impact came fast and bright, a sharp burst of pain across my temple. I remember the sound more than the feeling, the gasp from someone nearby, my own involuntary cry. For a second, everything blurred. When my vision steadied, I was on one knee. My son was clutching my shoulder, crying openly now, and the room was no longer silent. Someone said, "Call security." Another voice, "This is assault." My mother was still talking, still insisting, but the certainty in her voice had cracked. Venue security entered within minutes. 2 men in dark suits, professional and impersonal. They didn't ask who started what. They separated us. They asked questions. A guest, someone I barely knew, told them what she'd seen. "She hit the boy first." That sentence hung in the air. My mother tried to redirect. "They stole from us. They're lying." Security asked my sister where the phone had last been. "In the bridal suite," she said, uncertain now. Who had access? The list was short. Police arrived shortly after. The sight of uniforms shifted something unmistakable. This wasn't family anymore. This wasn't internal. This was documented. An officer asked my son gently, "Did you go upstairs at any point today?" He shook his head, eyes red but steady. They checked the suite. They checked common areas. They asked for access to venue cameras. The wasting was quiet. My head throbbed. A medic pressed gauze to my temple. My son refused to let go of my hand. Then one of the officers returned, holding the gold-plated phone. "It was inside a cosmetic bag in the bridal suite," he said. "Looks like it was placed there earlier. We reviewed footage. Your son never entered that area. No drama, no speech, just fact." The officer turned to my mother. "Ma'am, we need to speak with you outside." Her posture shifted. Smaller. Contained. "This is a misunderstanding," she began. "It may be," he replied evenly, "but striking a minor and another adult is not." She looked at my sister. My sister looked at the floor. As they escorted her toward the exit, the room parted, not in reverence, but in discomfort. There was no applause, no vindication, just space. The wedding continued technically. Music resumed. People avoided direct eye contact with me, as if accountability were contagious. My sister approached later. She didn't apologize. She said, "I didn't think she'd go that far." I nodded. That was the most honesty she had available. My son asked quietly, "Are we in trouble?" "No," I said. "We're not." I didn't shout. I didn't confront my mother as she left. I didn't list the years of smaller humiliations. I helped my son wash the dry juice from his shirt. I thanked the guest who spoke up. I gave a statement to the officer. Before we left, I told the venue manager I would be filing a formal report. Not out of revenge, out of record. On the drive home, my son leaned against the window, exhausted. "Why did she think I did it?" he asked. I thought about patterns. About roles assigned long before he was born. "Sometimes," I said carefully, "people decide who you are before they know you. That doesn't make them right." He was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "I didn't do anything, I know." The truth had come out publicly. Authority had intervened. Control had shifted in a way no argument could undo. But there was no celebration in it. Only a boundary. And for the first time, I didn't feel like the designated problem in the room. I felt like a parent who had stood exactly where she was supposed to stand.